So now I want to talk about processing methods, which are of enormous importance. As I mentioned earlier, when you have the cherries picked and you have the seeds, the beans separated, there is nothing you can do to improve the quality of these particular beans, but many things to mess it up. So we pick the coffee by hand in belly basket, we put them into bags, and we bring it up here. We weigh it right behind here, this conservation sign. We weigh them here, and then they go into the hopper over there, and they get transported up and first go into a cherry tank. In the cherry tank, I float my cherry, and anything that floats, I skim off and throw away. They are somehow partially inferior, and as I said, I do a number of things that a lot of people don't want to do, who are interested mostly in yield. I'm interested in quality. So I float the coffee, I skim it off and throw it away. In this machinery here, which I had custom built in Colombia and which arrived in 2006, I put this together. I had interned with a couple of farms and knew farmers who had similar equipment and took a lot of photographs, but it still took quite some time to put this together. So from here, the coffee gets transported by the means of water in these ABS loops that I have here and goes up there. First the coffee gets de-stoned. If there's a little bit of gravel in it or a beer bottle or what have you, it gets cleaned, and then there the coffee gets wet milled. In other words, the skins, the coffee skins, the cherry skins get separated from the beans, and the skins come out here. We catch them with our gator and we make it into organic fertilizer. Now, I have my mill set so sensitively that only the really ripe cherry will pulp. Everything else, the raisins, the hard raisins, the green ones, the pink ones, they all get kicked out back there in a bucket, and we do not recycle those things. A lot of people recycle them, again, because they want higher yield, and I just make them into organic fertilizer. Then the beans come out, and remember the mucilage that I mentioned earlier. It's the slimy, high protein compound that's around the coffee beans themselves. That needs to be removed. Traditionally, that's done in a process called fermentation, where coffee is wet fermentation, where coffee is covered with just a little bit of water, and then depending on the water temperature and the elevation where you are at, it needs to sit there for roughly 24 hours, and it needs to be agitated 3, 4, 5 times, and then rinsed 3, 4, 5 times to get all of the mucilage off. Now, with our water economy here, I had this custom mill made in Colombia, and this is an ecological mill. In other words, it uses very little water. And it has built in a mechanical de-mucilager, which was also invented by Eddie Fukunaga, and it removes the mucilage mechanically. And the mucilage looks like baby food and also gets separated in there, comes out here, and becomes organic fertilizer. Then the clean, squeaky clean beans come out into the parchment tank, which is down there. And these squeaky clean beans then, they go into a water tank. And again, anything that floats, I skim off and I throw away. Or I give it to my neighbor who dries it and roasts it and drinks it. It's good Kona coffee, but it's not the best Kona coffee. So then I still, having talked to a number of people who are, among other things, not only coffee specialists, but who had degrees in biochemistry, PhDs in biochemistry, and I still believe in putting my de-mucilage coffee beans into the tank at least for 10-12 hours overnight, and then next morning I go up and I skim again anything that floats and throw it away. Then they come down by gravity and they get pumped up on the drying deck where they get dried. Now, a couple of things about no, leave that out.